So, good evening, dear Formula One fans. We are right at the end of the qualifying of the Dragon Force Racing League Division 2 here in Suzuka, and we see Leclerc leading the way, just like he did on the last weekend, but on a totally different track, of course. In Monaco, let's hope that his car is in a better situation than on the last weekend. Further, we see Rocco and Grim Refier right behind him, but there is no one inside the 1 second window. So let's just see if this will hold up or not. We are right at the end, the final minutes of the qualifying. So everyone who wants to improve his time should do it now, should be on the track already by now. Leclerc sitting in his pits, looks like he decided that he will not run again. We see a few drivers that have already 2-3 laps on their each set of softs. I don't think this is a good idea, because that would mean that they have to start on this used set, and that would mean that they have to come in for new tires very early. Let's just see what Grim Refier is able to do here, right at the end of Sector 1, after the S's. End of the sector is right here. And he is improving 2.5 tenths he found in Sector 1. And here on the long back straight, he found a little bit. He is improving, but not enough to attack the pole. He could be ahead of Asylum and Corby, maybe. So he could push himself ahead by 1 or 2 starting rows, but not in the prime. And he's third in the end, 1.1 seconds behind Leclerc. And barely ahead of Corby and Asylum. The first checkered flags behind or next to a few drivers' names. Let's see what Rocco is doing in the other Mercedes. He's coming to the end of Sector 1 here. A little bit of dirt he crossed there, and no improvement. Oh, and there was someone standing in the barrier. Didn't see it. Was a Williams. Must have been Freddy Boy. So we can ignore that Freddy Boy is officially still ruled to be on a hot lap. Let's just focus what Rocco is doing, who is more or less the last one to put in a hot lap time. The end of Sector 2, and it's not good for him, 2 tenths behind. So yeah, there is actually nothing else he could do. He cannot attack Leclerc anymore. There is no pressure from behind, and yes, he aborted the lap time. Maybe he knew it already that his teammate Grim Refier was already finished. He wasn't good enough to attack ahead, and so this is it. This is it for our qualifying of Division 2. Congratulations to Leclerc, distancing everyone by at least a second. The last one, probably the last one to enter the pits. No, there's still one driver, one car on the track. 2 or 3 or 4 still on the track. That those drivers we have to wait, and then we will finish the quali. Let's have a short look about the standings. We see in Division 2 J.R. Morgan leading with 33 points ahead of Purplo and Corby. And this is our final result of the qualifying. This is Leclerc leading over Rocco and Grim Refair. Then Corby in 4th, 5th Asylum, 6th Gin and Juice, 7th The Great Mass, 8th Tom, 9th is our host Gavin Poynton, 10th J.R. Morgan, 11th Gibby, 12th Grumpy Girls, in 13th Freddy Boy, 14 last place. He's not in last place at the moment. Then 15th Even Ginger, 16 Araujo, 17 and last disqualified Thug Speed. Obviously he was a thug for some reason. Didn't catch that one sadly, as I joined just a little bit later. I wanted to have a look at the championship standings. We see J.R. Morgan leading the way with 33 points, 5 points ahead of Purplo. Third, then Corby. Fourth, Leclerc, our pole setter. And fifth, Tom HKR. But it's still very, very early in the season, just race number 3, so still a lot of time to decide things. And the race looks fine weather, just slightly cloudy, a lot of blue sky, so that's a good sign. The drivers have half a minute of time to get the tire strategy loaded into the game, to change some minor things around the setup if wished. And then we will start into our installation lap. So let's see what this race will bring us. I am not very familiar with Division 2. I have seen a few of these drivers in the pre-season community event, but that's already all. That's already it, what I know about a few of the drivers. And further, Suzuka has been a place for where we've seen some great races, great entertainment, but likewise can cause quite some troubles, if not say chaos. So this could turn into a very intriguing evening. Here we see the tire strategy for the race. The top 10 have to start on the tire they qualified on, and for some drivers this could get messy very early, because, as I said, we have seen a few drivers who posted multiple hot laps on their set of softs. Yeah, just when you speak about it, here is the tire strategy presented to us by the Amazon Web Services. And those 2 or 3 drivers inside the top 10 who had so many hot laps on their set of softs in the qualifying, they will get into some trouble very early. They are more or less forced then into an early pit stop. That can totally ruin the race, of course. So 3 drivers were disqualified from the warm-up lap. That can only mean that they touched another driver. Actually, not the biggest problem. There is no damage handed out in the warm-up lap. But speaking about the warm-up, they did not have a chance for some warm-up now. So they will have to start on more or less cold tires, depending on the status of the tires they had when getting disqualified. We will see 5 red lights, the 5 Japanese red lights, and then the Japanese Dragon Force Racing Grand Prix. Here we go. Good start by Grim Redeer. Both Mercedes attacking the Red Bull here very early. At least one driver, Leclerc, had to let pass. There's yellow, no yellow anymore. Let's see what's happening in the SS. This is a problem for Asylum, who has to run through the dirt, losing a lot of positions. And a Ferrari in trouble. Who's that? That's Gavin Poynton. No one else but our host and admin of the Racing League. There was a lot of debris flying around. You can see in the background there was a lot of winglets loose and detached, and we have an early safety car. So Freddy Boy is the only one who is still behind. Have a look, he is still digging himself out of the dirt there in the Williams. He had a problem in the quali already when he was stuck with the rear inside the wall, and now he's last in the race likewise. Gavin Poynton in 16th, not a good quali, not a good start of his race. Not a good condition, his nose is in, ooh, and in the 130R he is off track again. Just lucky for him, there is a big run out zone. Let's see who will be the first drivers to pit in. Poynton and Freddy Boy definitely have to do so. Tom HKR the first one, then Gibby, then Ethan Ginger, then Gavin Poynton. So around 5 drivers then in the pit stop. Yellow tires here for Ethan Ginger, plus a new nose. The yellows for Gavin Poynton likewise. Fresh red tires for Gibby. And Freddy Boy did not pit in. Freddy Boy just went through, so no damage for the Williams, for the second Williams. So ignore the table, that's not correct as always in lap 2. We are not in lap 3, we are in lap 2, so as soon as the leader has gone into lap 3, the real lap 3, the table will be correct again. So now it's correct. Here we go. Now it is finally correct. Now it is reliable. Let's have a look at the plus minuses from the start. Rocco +1 pushing ahead over Leclerc. And Grim Rodier ±0 for him, likewise Corby. Then a little bit +1 each for Gin and Juice and the Great Mass. Thug Speed, the big winner of the start, coming from the back row from the last position. But he already has been given a penalty, -3 for Asylum. We saw him. He had to run through the dirt in the S's. Early pit stops. Another set of early pit stops, maybe. Those are the drivers who need fresh tires already very early. Oh, and there was someone going sideways. That's what's happening here. That's Freddy Boy. Grumpy Gills next to him too. There was a penalty handed out to Araujo, but that did not cause in this moment here. So let's speak about the position situation. +7 for Araujo. What's happening in behind there? It's a Freddy Boy again. Aye. Freddy Boy. The Haas behind may not overtake, but Freddy Boy needs to catch up to the field. First thing he does is going through the gravel again. I'm not very sure what he's doing here. Now he has been given a penalty. Yeah, anyway, we will have to have an eye about what this Williams driver is doing here. Anyway, I wanted to still analyze the start phase. +7 for Araujo. Last place, +4 too. +2 for Evan Ginger, and a lot of minuses then. J.R. Morgan, Gavin Poynton, we saw why. Jibby, Freddy Boy, and Tom, the big losers of the start. Safety car is not in this lap. Lights still flashing. We will see another lap of safety car here. And now Freddy Boy is out. Didn't see how or why. That's a bit sad for someone to DNF that early, but okay. It is as it is. Here we are with our leader, Rocco. I suppose that the safety car will be in this lap, even though the last driver, GB, is very far behind. So let's see if the CPU will give us another lap of safety car. We will know by the end of sector 2. GB is picking up to the rest of the field, of course. Safety car is in this lap. So now here in the last sector, Rocco is pacing the field, warming up his tires, and then to some moment, unpredictable moment, he will pick up the pace and try to run away from Leclerc and the rest. When will he do it? Now he does. Now he does, and we are back to green, back to racing. Leclerc, no chance for an attack, but still not that far away either. Then a little bit of gap to Grim Revere and Corby, who has Gin and Juice in his gearbox right behind him. Top 8, the drivers who did not stop, who have started on softs. And then from P9 is Araujo, who started on mediums, and then it's a little bit wild. Some drivers who opted for fresh hards very early. Ethan Ginger, J.R. Morgan, Grumpy Girls, they will hope to run long on this set. There was a little bit of yellow in the intermediate sector, but I think not a big problem. Yellow 2 in the intermediate sector, and there was someone in the gravel, but not severe enough to drop down in the field. Here we are on board with Leclerc. Not a good start to his race. He was lethal in the qualifying, distancing everyone by at least a second, but now all of a sudden he's only in 4th anymore. Chasing Corby, and ahead is Grim Revere, so the two Mercedes leading the way, doing what Mercedes is just doing for the last 7 years. But it really looks like that Leclerc is faster than Corby ahead, so you can visibly see it. Yellow in sector 1, someone went off there. Gavin Poynton is out. Let's see if we can get it depicted. There is a wrecked Ferrari. Here on the right hand side, our admin has left us. Second DNF very early. While we see Araujo, looks like he's faster than Grumpy Girls, and Araujo into the wall there. Lost his car while accelerating. Sad moment for him. He was in last position already. I don't know why, because he is racing still on the starting tire. So something happened there for him. Maybe he was the one who was running through the gravel earlier when I didn't see who it was. That might have caused him to drop down the order. Now he'll need a new nose, new tires, new nose. I suppose that he'll try to carry on hards and then go long, if not through. Maybe depending on the future safety car situation. Very cautiously coming into the pit lane. While we see a drive-through penalty being handed out to Ethan Ginger. Worst thing you can do. He was speeding in the sector times. Araujo has to serve a penalty first. And he continues on softs. Did not expect that, but okay. So he is last, but should be one of the fastest now in the field, as he can push hard on fresh softs now. So what's happening in the top group? Here we see Leclerc again, pushing against Corby. DRS on this track is sadly not a big topic. Here's the one and only DRS zone, and Corby ahead is DRS equipped likewise. Still an attack inside? No, he doesn't dare. Here in the S's, it's really heavy and intense dirty air factor. So you want to stay close, but you cannot be too close, otherwise you lose downforce. There was some yellow behind us. That was Rocco, one of the Mercedes. Didn't catch that one, but one of the Mercedes was running wide there. Rocco down to P7 only. Grim Revere then now the lone Mercedes leading the way ahead of Corby, and Leclerc up in third. Let's have a short look at him. There he is, no damage to him. He was just riding through the dirt there somewhere in the S's. And that, yeah, makes our top three, our podium setters, very close in the grasp of each other. Everyone in the DRS window of the driver ahead, but I mentioned it, DRS is not a big topic here. This is the only DRS zone. The long back straight that is split into two halves is not a DRS zone. So on the other hand, you have to be fast on the long straights even without opening the rear wing. But on the other hand, you need a lot of downforce, especially here for the S's. So that is the big trickiness about this track and the car setup. And it looks like Corby now is faster than Leclerc. The last few laps it looked like as if Leclerc would be able to attack him, but now it rather looks like as if Corby would be getting closer to an attack on Grim Revere. Behind Leclerc, the Great Mass already 1.5, 1.6 seconds away, so no pressure from behind, at least momentarily, if he doesn't commit a mistake. Then there's a big gap between Gin and Juice and Rocco, and now maybe the surprise attack ahead of the chicane. Ooh, Corby closed the door there inside the chicane. And Leclerc immediately turns into the pits. Ooh. Hard brake ahead of the speed trap. Reds off, whites on, hards for Leclerc. He should be able to go through, at least according to the tire strategy from Pirelli, presented by the Amazon Web Services / Mario Isola from Pirelli. And yeah, Leclerc back onto the track in P9. Rocco, who pitted simultaneously, is continuing his race on mediums, so he needs to stop again. He's ranked back into P12. So now it's just a duel for the lead anymore. That's Grim Revere and Corby. Corby a little bit of gap now. Corby looked like he was closer. Then came the not successful attack from Leclerc, and now Corby is a second away. So let's see if those two drivers will pit in now to not give Leclerc more than one lap of undercut. Grim Revere is not pitting, but Corby is. Grim Revere is not pitting. Wow. 10 laps on softs. Okay, we had a long safety car phase, but still, this is very long. Great Mass goes through too. Gin and Juice likewise. Corby, fresh hearts. Classic one-stop strategy for him. Behind the Haas coming, the other Haas. Corby is down to 9th. Leclerc is through. Have a look. Leclerc is through. There he is. So the undercut worked for the Red Bull, pushing ahead by 8/10 over the Alpha Tauri. Before both pitted, Leclerc was, he was next to him. It was wheel to wheel. They were more or less level on times. If you remember, Leclerc was just attacking Corby in the final chicane, and now, have a look. This is how strategy works in the modern Formula One. Grumpy Gills had a spin there somewhere in the S's. Not a big problem, I think. Yellow already vanished. And now let's have a look what Grim Riffy is doing. He should pit in rather soon. We have already seen what one lap of undercut can cause. Oh, he goes through again. That can only mean that he'll try to finish race on mediums. Phew, that's very long, very, very long. I'm not sure if that's really making sense what Riffy is doing. The great Mas, maybe referred to the great Felipe Massa, 10 seconds world champion, is now pitting. He has mounted fresh mediums. Not sure if that is good enough to make him go through. He is down to P9, just ahead of Rocco. Not just ahead, big gap to Rocco actually. So there is the battle of the two Haases. Closer and obviously a bit more successful than the real life Haases. And Tom, likewise to J.R. Morgan, can go a lot longer. J.R. Morgan will run around about up to 20 laps on his hards. Tom will not quite be able to make it. You can see Tom is a controller driver. You can see that on the unrhythmic steering graphics on his steering wheel. I can tell you it is really hard to drive through the 130R on a controller. And we have the next safety car because there is someone who has DNF. That is Thug Speed. The Thug is out. Where is his car? There it is. Into the tire barrier inside the S's. What a lucky moment for Grim Riviere. Lucky moment for Grim Riviere. He pitted. He waited so long to pit and now he did it in the best possible moment. He was waiting so long. His strategy was actually busted, I would like to call it. And the safety car, especially the Thug, bailed him out in this position, in this situation. He's now leading over Leclerc, Corby, great Mas. A lot of positions gained by him too due to the penalty, due to the safety car situation here. Then Gin and Juice, Rocco down to 6, or rather down and up again. So P6 is not too bad for his situation he was already in. J.R. Morgan 7, Gibby in 8, Tom in 9th. So the two Haases are now split. Gibby, here he is in his racing point, is the meat inside the Haas sandwich. Last place still, or again not in last. He is in 10th. Then Asylum, Grumpy Gills, Ethan Ginger, and Araujo picking up to the rest of the field. Grim Riviere here leading, the two Mercedes leading the way. Mercedes of Bernd Mailänder and Mercedes of Grim Riviere. So we will see at least another lap of safety car, maybe even two, because the field is so far stretched out again. And thanks Noah Simons for his message. That was Freddy Boy. He had some internet connection issues, so That is always very sad, and yeah, explains why our car is more or less jumping around uncontrollably. And thanks for being with us, and I hope you will still have a nice evening watching your racing Let's Race here in Suzuka. Araujo is still very far back. Let's see if the CPU decides to have a second prolonged safety car phase. I will have a sip of water and will be back with you shortly. The safety car is in this lap. Araujo took advantage of the safety car phase and caught up to the field rather quickly. And now it's Grim Revere to lead the way, and to one surprising moment pick up the pace. I mentioned it, he was so lucky with his tire strategy. Oh, Leclerc being handed a 5 seconds penalty. Grim Revere likewise, he's very, very slowly doing it. He needs to pick up the pace now. Wow, did not see such a harsh moment again. And here was a crash. There was a crash in the background somewhere. Someone was ran into the wall, the pit wall. Reminded me of the Portimao, no, the Mugello Grand Prix last year, and it was Rocco, the other Mercedes. So yeah, indirectly Grim Revere caused a lot of problems for his teammate, indirectly, because it wasn't him, of course. And Ethan Ginger ran through the Liqui Moly, what is it? Styropor. And he is out after the spin here, and the SSC decided to call this the evening for him. Ethan Ginger is out. The AI will park his car here, and he will be vanished by the virtual track marshals. And Leclerc has lost the position to no one else but Corby again. So here's the battle again. Yeah, but it was an awkward restart by Grim Revere. Not the worst idea for himself, for his battle against the P2 driver. That was to that time still Leclerc. But on the other hand, the other drivers behind him was so packed up, and that was just the best setup for a big mess than behind. And we see pit stops by Rocco and J.R. Morgan, so we know who the drivers were that who collided. And I think they are still lucky that they did not have terminal damage. Morgan continues on softs. That is not a good idea. He'll not make it through the race. Yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he will. We have seen already one driver making it 11 laps on a set of softs. Rocco opted for mediums. He will be able to go through on his set of yellow. So there was some red car in troubles in the intermediate sector, but yellow already vanished. Leclerc, a little bit of trouble here through the exit of 130R. And now here on the long back straight, he is getting closer to Corby again. Ooh, a lot of steer for him. Very, very unpleasant moment while getting closer to the breaking point. Oh, Leclerc is jumpy. Leclerc seems like he is having some internet issues too. And he is attacking Corby on the inside and he pushed through. He pushed through. Now Corby is forced to watch a jumpy Leclerc ahead. That's unpleasant, let's call it. And speaking of unpleasant stuff, he is in the gravel pit and the Great Mass is out. There is some big havoc, big chaos, a lot of drivers caused. This is last place. Then we see Asylum. Grumpy Gills was part of it too. So all of those drivers ahead. Great Mass is out somewhere. Where is it? Where is he? He's standing here, somewhere here. No, next turn. There he is. That should be it. It was a safety car. Aha, it was the colored button of the safety car that I was seeing standing there. Where is the Great Mass? I think he is already vanished. He was the place that caused havoc. Yeah, third safety car phase. Let's have a short look at the penalties as we have some time. We see a few plus fives. Grumpy Gills, Leclerc and Grim Revere, and +5, +3 for last place. Pit stop for Corby. Okay. That is interesting. Jibby in the silent too. He needs a new nose. He needs a new nose in this jumpy overtake from Leclerc. Obviously, he took some damage of it. GB and Asylum in the pits too. Everyone stopping for fresh softs now, of course. That is sad. That, brings Corby back to P7 only. He was in a winning or at least podium discussion all race long. And now, let's see if he can make his softs work good enough to overtake a few drivers ahead and get back to a higher position. Yeah, due to some pit stops, the field is stretched out a lot, almost over the whole track. So we will definitely see another lap of safety car, and I will be back with you in a moment. So I would like to say that it's likely the safety car will be in this lap, and I hope this is the third and final time that I say it for tonight. Yes, here we go. Now let's see what Grim Reverie will do this time. Will he do such a strange restart maneuver again or not? Right now he looks slow, and still slow, and still slow. Timing line getting closer. Leclerc will stay a bit further away this time, and when will he pick up the pace? Now he does, and Leclerc lost the position to Chin and Shoes. Have a look how far he is away already. And then there's a big mess, a big fight for a second. Leclerc is back in second. Chin and Shoes very close in the background. There's something happening. There's already someone in the dirt again. Let's have a look what happened. This is Rocco back into the points. Asylum, it was Chibi. Yes, Chibi, who has a damaged front wing. He needs to pit in again for a new nose. Oh, someone driving off-road there again ahead. I was Rocco. Just said he's back into the points, and he is back out of the points. Araujo with some acceleration troubles, and we have a safety car. Oh, really? Really? My goodness. Don't know why. Chibi was digging out of the gravel there for some reason. Yeah, and here we are with the leader Grim Reverie. He will feel comfortable with having another phase of being behind Bernd Mailander. Leclerc, what's happening there? Leclerc is falling, is dropping behind. He was in the dirt somewhere, needs the exit line. And he is down into 11 and now 9th. Oh my. Oh my goodness. He had a good race. Monstrous good quality. A good race. He was racing for at least a podium. And now he's down to 9th only. He did not opt to stop for fresh softs. So that will not make it easier on the restart for him around drivers who are on softs. Everyone around him is on softs except him. You can see how he's jumpy, so let's jump to the leader. Grim Reverie leading the way once again. So I repeat myself. I hope that at the end of this lap, the safety car will be in for the third and final time. And let's have a short look about the penalty situation. That will be affecting a few drivers a lot, as the field is so close. And have a look, the +5 for Grim Revere. That is a big problem. He's the only one down in until P8 who is given a penalty, so he will. It is likely that he will win the race, but not eternally, because the field is so close after so many safety car phases. And that would mean that by right now, by the moment, he would be ranked back. Have a look, until P8. Wow. It will not stay that way, but this is really evil. And the same goes for Leclerc, Grumpy, and last place. Now finally, last place made it into last place. So, safety car in this lap. Once again, we see Grim Revere taking him very long until he picks up the pace. Tom a bit jumpy now. We are back to racing, and Tom, the second driver, is under pressure again by the third. We saw the same from Chin and Shoes versus Leclerc earlier, and behind everything went rather okay. Still we see yellow vanished now. So we did not leave anyone behind, even though last place isn't in last anymore, because Grumpy Gills now is. And last place pushes ahead over his teammate JB. And Tom got himself a 3 seconds penalty somehow, somewhere. So the other jumpy driver, that's unpleasant for Gin and Juice now. So Tom now needs to stay in a 2 seconds window behind Grim Revere to be the leader then eventually in the end. While Gin and Shoes just needs to stay where he is, and he will be the race winner after penalties then. This lap plus the next is still without DRS, and then in lap 25 we will see DRS being activated for 3 more laps. But as I mentioned, not a big topic here in Suzuka. Oh, have a look. Gin and Shoes will be angry here behind Tom. He does not know how or where to overtake him, because he can't trust his opponent's car track position. And there was some ±0 in the last interval. That means Rocco and Corby are fighting here. Oh, there it is. Corby pushing over Chin and Shoes. Chin and Shoes committing a mistake, and therefore he dropped down a position. And now he went through the grass and will drop another one. Rocco, have a look. Rocco is up into 4th. He had a good start and a very bad middle section of his race. And now what is going on here? Wheel to wheel into the hairpin asylum. And his teammate Chin and Shoes. Chin and Shoes having a big problem here. Just half a lap ago I said he just needs to stay where he is and he will win the race. And now have a look. He is under pressure. And that means our leading group is now Grim Revere, Tom, and Corby. Corby up in 3rd again. Yellow in sector 3. Araujo had some problems going through the final chicane, I think. There was some position swap. Rocco and Corby. Rocco now in 3rd. Rocco into or onto the podium again. How How interesting is that? Just remember, Rocco and Grim Revere, the two Mercedes, were leading the way until the first safety car phase. Rocco was down into last, or almost last, and now he's onto the podium again. And as he does not have a penalty, Rocco might win the race eventually. Oh, attack here on the inside by Asylum. Bit of a tag there on the rear tire against Corby. And that makes his teammate maybe push through again. McLaren's wheel to wheel. Yellow in sector 2. Asylum still ahead of Gin and Juice. There are the two McLarens. And not far away behind is Leclerc, who is battling. No, he isn't anymore. Leclerc, you can hear the engine. He was digging out of the grass there of the 130R. He was getting closer to a fight for P6, and now he's down to 9th. The two McLarens battling it out, and a few meters ahead, this is Rocco in the gearbox of the Jumpy Tom. But I am very sure that he is aware of the penalty situation, so he just needs to stay where he is. And he will be given the race win in the end. 2 more laps, or actually just 1.5 laps left. We finally have a bit of race rhythm, not interrupted by too many safety car phases anymore. Right now it seems that Grim Revere can get a little bit of gap to Tom, but of course it will not be enough to give him enough of cushion to race away the penalty. Oh, late attack here from Rocco. Oh, and another attack from behind, and now he is under pressure from Corby. That was not a good idea from Rocco, not a good idea. Maybe we will see if there is some damage to his car. He's pushing hard against Tom. He wants to race it down, to race himself onto the podium. And there was some debris flying off the front wing of Corby. Rocco somehow made his way through. He would be the race winner anyway. He wouldn't even have to fight his way through. But he wanted to muscle through. And now Tom in 3rd, followed by Gin and Juice. Corby only 5th anymore. With his damaged front wing, he had such a lack of downforce that he was dropped behind in the S's. One of the worst positions in the whole race calendar to have limited downforce, the S's of Suzuka. Yeah, and as we are in the last lap, and we are on the final back straight, just the chicane now separating Grim Revere from the checkered flag. He will win the race for 1.3 seconds, and then he will hand it over to his teammate. Congratulations to Grim Revere, congratulations to Rocco, coming back from more or less last and winning the race. Second will be Gin and Juice. Penalty-wise, a lot of up and down for him in the end, but he made it into P2 in the second position. Corby will be 3rd, then onto the podium, and Grim Revere, who led almost the whole race, is ranked down into 4th because of this one messy, stupid 5 seconds penalty he had during one of the multiple safety car phases. So here's a trophy for race winner and a little bit of virtual champagne for our top 3. And this is our final result after penalties. Rocco has won it, ahead of Chin and Shoes and Corby in 3rd. 4th is Grim Revere, 5th Tom, 6th JR Morgan, 7th Asylum, 8th Leclerc, 9th Gibby, 10th last position, 11 Grumpy Girls, 12th Araujo, and the first to not finish, that's the Great Mass, Even Ginger, Thug Speed, Gavin Poynton, and Freddy Boy. So this has been race 3 of 10. Next week we will have a community event. I am actually scheduled to stream Division 1. Let's see how things will go next week. I hope it's gonna be a little bit better than tonight. Until then, as it is still Monday, I wish you a pleasant evening. Have a good start to your week. And yeah, stay safe in these times and keep racing.